new details about the detention of Air Force Major Jason Watson. Watson is the active duty airman who was arrested last month after calling for President Trump's impeachment on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. Watson's attorney tells Outfront that he was detained yesterday at Joint Base Andrews by Air Force security. And Watson is now being held, he says, in a county jail. He'll face a judge tomorrow. Now, the detention happened after Watson explained on this program his reasons for speaking out despite this great personal and professional risk.
Nothing that is worth doing is something that you can do for free. Everything that is worthwhile is going to cost something. We just have to be willing to accept that we can change what is happening in our country if we're just willing to pay a price for it. So all that I could do was ask myself, what's the highest price that I'm willing to pay?
Out front now, Chris Mutimer, the attorney representing Major Jason Watson. And Chris, a lot to ask you about is see, what you really know at this point. I mean, what details are you able to tell us about how Major Watson was detained?
Sure. So, as you know, he was on your show Monday night. After your show, almost immediately after, he sent a communication to his chain of command, letting them know that he was reporting in, letting them know where he was going. And if there was any questions that they had or anything they needed from him, he was making himself available to them. He didn't hear anything that evening. I think we all expected that he might have been arrested that night, or he would be, but he wasn't. He reported to duty the next day. And while he was, this is on Tuesday, while he was at work, he, through counsel, informed his chain of command that he would no longer be wearing his uniform. Shortly after that, he was told he needed to put his uniform on within about 20 minutes. My understanding is around 3:30, he was then arrested and he was brought to a county jail. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so he's in a county jail. I know you did, excuse me, have a chance to speak with Major Watson this afternoon. You know, what's the situation there in the county jail? How's he doing?
He's doing well, and I think one thing he wants his family and his friends to know that he's okay. He expected this. He has said this, that he expected to be arrested. He sounds good. He sounds healthy. He is aware that tomorrow there's going to be a detention hearing. Right now, we are waiting on the government to turn over evidence for this detention hearing. We have not received, at least last I checked, I've not received any exhibits for this matter. We have a team that is waiting for this so we can start preparing for the hearing tomorrow. But it seems to me that the government is dragging his feet on putting everything together. We're not even aware what he's charged with yet. It's pretty ridiculous, if you ask me.
Well, so you're not even aware with what he's charged with. I mean, I guess, is that one of the reasons why you're saying the military's not been cooperative since his detention? I mean, I know he could face, and you said he's obviously knew what wants his friends and family to know. He expected this, but he could face court-martial, obviously dismissal from the Air Force, loss of pay, benefits, and incarceration in a military jail. These are all possibilities. Do you have a sense of what the punishment the military will seek is? And I guess that's the context of, but you still don't know what they're charging him with.
No, but I mean, based off of previous orders that have come from JAG, I would say we're expecting charges related to Article 88, which is contempt towards an officer, Article 92, which is failure to obey, which would be related potentially to him not putting his uniform back on. He is facing significant jail time, possibly. He's facing discharge from the military. Depending how the government wants to stack charges or bring charges against him, we could be looking at serious jail time. And again, I just want to reiterate, he knows this. You know, he's been in the military for 17 years. Major Watson is someone who cares deeply about this country and this Constitution. And I think he said this on your show Monday, and I thought it was beautiful, is that he knows people right now are scared and they're worried. And they are in a situation where they don't know what's going to happen as a result of this administration. And he wants people to know that they're not alone. And for people who may ask, why did he take his uniform off, or why is he not willing to take it? You know, I can't speak for Major Watson, but what I can say is he has a deep, deep respect for that uniform. And he definitely has made it clear that he did not take an act to go out and protest and ask for an impeachment of the president, hoping other people would copy him. He is taking an action because he believes someone needs to do that. and he doesn't want anyone else in the military to have to do that. He knows this may have been offended people, people who are currently serving or who may serve, but I believe that what you saw when someone, if there's a reason why he might not wear that uniform, it's because he wants to show a commitment to that uniform and respect for it.
Major Watson, obviously, you have done this after incredible consideration. You've been in the Air Force for 17 years. You're in the Air Force, and you know that by choosing to speak out as you did in uniform, calling for the Commander-in-Chief's impeachment and removal from office, that carries grave consequences, violates the laws governing the U.S. military. But you chose to do it, knowing all of that. Tell me why.
Well, I think the most important thing for all of us to keep in mind is what is happening with President Trump is not normal. He has failed us, and not only is he a failure as president, he is flagrantly violating the Constitution, breaking the law, engaged in rampant corruption, and is killing Americans. And that is unacceptable to me. And it should be unacceptable to all of us. I feel like, unfortunately, many of us have gotten used to this, and we've normalized to this conduct, and we think that there's nothing that we can do about it. And one of the reasons I chose to use the pseudonym of Just a Nobody was to underscore that you do not have to be somebody special to take action and reject this government. We can all do something about what's happening in our country. And I want to just inspire people and bring the conversation to impeach, convict, remove. And there are organizations out there that I joined with, Removal Coalition with Jessica Denson, and Citizens Impeachment with Kira Havens and John Boniface's Free Speech for People, that are not getting enough attention. And I want to try to spotlight them as much as I can and to inspire Americans to act, because I believe we can defeat this government if we just take a stand.
So, when you talk about that desire to inspire, you're not, of course, a somebody. You are a somebody, right? You're not an anybody. You are a somebody, right? You're a sitting major and in the Air Force. After your arrest, the military had placed you under a gag order. They restricted your movements. You're under investigation as you and I speak, and obviously the consequences you could face for speaking out because you are who you are include court-martial, removal from the Air Force, loss of pay and benefits. I mean, you could even go to prison. And you knew all of that, right? You knew all of that when you made this decision to try to inspire others. How did you go through the thought process that made you willing to pay the price that this may cost?
Nothing that is worth doing is something that you can do for free. Everything that is worthwhile is going to cost something. It's going to be hard. It's going to require sacrifice. And we are in an incredibly challenging time. And in order for us to get out of this situation, we all have to have courage. So for me to take action, if I don't sacrifice something, if I don't give something up, then it's just words. And words are easy to ignore. So if I don't put myself out there in a big way, then it's just noise. And there's plenty of noise that we're all listening to every day. There's plenty of people telling us the obvious truth, but there's no cost being paid. And there's a lot of ways to view that as cynically or skeptically or whatever the case may be, and just dismiss it and say, okay, you're not making any difference. But we just have to be willing to accept that we can change what is happening in our country if we're just willing to pay a price for it. So all that I could do was ask myself, what's the highest price that I'm willing to pay? And this is what I ultimately came up with. And it is absolutely motivated by my oath to the Constitution. But any American can make this choice. Any American can say, this government is intolerable and I want a better future for my children, and I want to hand them a better country than I inherited. And that is ultimately a huge inspiration for me as well.